Hello grade 5, how are you? This is teacher Fatima and today we are going to talk about the first conditionals, which is the if sentences type 1. And as you know, these sentences consist of two parts. The first part is the if clause and the second part is the main clause. Now let's watch together this video to know more about the if conditionals type 1. We use these sentences to talk about things that we believe will happen or will not happen in the future. So these sentences has got the possibility to happen in the future. Okay, as you can see, the form of the if sentences conditionals type 1, we have two parts, the main part and the if clause, or we can just change the order, the if clause and the main part. As you can see, in the if clause we use the simple present, and in the main clause we have a future tense, which is will plus verb infinitive. So in the if clause, we are going to say what we will do or what will going to happen, and in the main clause, there is something that depends on the first if clause, which is the thing that we want to do in order to make part 2 or the main part or the main clause possible to happen. So we call the first part, which is the if part, we call it the cause because it's the reason, and we call the second part, which is the main part, the effect, which is the result of what we are going to do in the first part. So the main part depends on, or the main clause depends on the if clause. So if clause must happen in order to make the second part possible to happen. You can see again, if clause has got present tense, and we use the future tense for the main clause. This is very important. So we use the present tense with the if clause, and we use the future tense with the main clause. Here is an example. If you break the glass, notice that we added comma. You will or you'll get hurt. So if you break the glass, break is verb 1 or simple present, you'll get hurt. So we use the future tense, will plus verb 1 or verb infinitive. Okay, here we have a sentence. I want to give you time to think about it. Let's read it. Will be, you hungry, you breakfast don't have. And there is F. We need to write these words in the correct order to make them a full sentence about the first conditional or if type 1. Okay, I want you to try to do it. Of course, in order to make this sentence, we are going to use the simple present with F. So we need F, then subject, which is, of course, you. Don't have is the verb 1 or the simple present. Then we have breakfast, and why we use breakfast? Because there's comma with it. So this part is the end. This word is the end of the first part. After that, we are going to start with the main part, and the main part starts with subject. So you again. If you don't have breakfast, you. Of course, we are going to use the future tense. So you will be hungry with dot because it's the end of this sentence. So if you don't have breakfast, you will be hungry. Okay, as we said, first conditional or if-type 1 sentences consists of two parts. So we have two parts. The first part and the second part. The first part is the if clause. The second part we call it the main clause. And it's very important to notice that we have between these two sentences, we must write comma. So first part is the if clause, the second part is the main clause, and in the middle we have the comma. Do you remember what we said about the verb in the if clause and what kind of verbs we use with the main clause? Yes, with the if clause we use a simple present with the main clause we use the future tense. Okay, of course, as every grammar rule, there's a rule for this kind of sentences. We have to follow this rule in order to build sentences. So what is the rule here? The rule is we have if plus subject plus the verb, which is verb 1 or simple present. Then we continue the first sentence. Then we have, of course, a comma. Then the main clause, it's a sentence, starts with as, which is subject, the verb, which is the future tense, or let's write future tense, then object, or we continue the sentence, at the end we have dot. Okay, let's write example about it. We can say, if you study, comma, subject, which is you, will pass the exam. Notice that at the beginning of the sentence we wrote F with capital letter because it's the first word in the sentence. Then we put comma, and I want you to notice that we wrote will pass. Pass is verb infinitive, so we don't use with it s or es. Okay, let's notice that at the end of the sentence we added dot because it's the end of this sentence. Let's write another example. If she plays with me comma, we will be best friends. Let's notice that at the beginning of the sentence, of course, we wrote F with capital I because it's the first word in the sentence. But notice that plays here, it's with S. Can you think about it? Why we wrote plays with S, but study, we didn't write it with S? Yes, of course, that's correct, because she is singular, and with he, she, it, we add to the simple present S or ES, depends on the ending of the verb. But with I, you, we, they, we don't add S or ES. So here, because we have she, we added S, so it's plays. With me, comma, of course, we will be best friends, and at the end we added dot. So, as we said at the beginning of this video, the first sentence or the if clause is going to tell you a cause or a reason. And in the main part or in the main clause, there is a result or an effect of this cause or this reason. So the second part, which is the main clause here, the main clause depends on the first or in the if clause. So if clause must happen in order to make the second part come true. Okay, what if I want to make these sentences negative? Let's focus on the sentences. If you study, you will pass the exam. If I want to make it the negative form, I want to add, of course, not to the sentence. If you study, you will pass the exam. Okay, I want to add not. Let's add not. If you, of course, I want to add not to study, but I don't say student. I want to take verb to do from study in order to add not. So we say if you don't study, comma, you will, okay, you, because we added not to study or the first part or the first clause, of course we need to add not to the second part. So we say, if you don't study, you, we can't say will present. No, of course we will want to add not to will. So we are going to say, you won't pass the exam. Okay, notice that we added not to study, so we took do because taking do or does depends on the pronoun, and the pronoun here is you. You takes do. We added not, so it's don't. So if you don't study, you won't, and won't means will not. You won't pass, sorry, we have here double F. You won't pass the exam. Okay, let's add not to the next sentence. If she plays with me, we will be best friends. If she plays, so of course we are going to add not to does, not to do, because she takes does. So if she doesn't study, if she doesn't play, comma, you, play with me, comma, we, of course we need to add not to will, so it will be will not, which is want, so we won't be best friend. Okay, now what about making the sentence a question? Let's try to make a question. So in order to make it a question, we need to start with the second part. So the form of the question form is what? Will plus subject plus verb infinitive plus we continue the sentence, the second sentence, and at the end we have question mark. Okay, let's try this on the first sentence. If you study, you will pass the exam. You will pass the exam. We are going to start with it. So we say will, subject you, verb infinitive pass. Will you pass the exam? We continue the sentence. If you study, question mark. Notice that we started well with capital because it's the first word in the sentence, and if is small because it's in the middle. We don't have comma, and we ended the sentence with question mark. If I want to answer this question with yes, I'm going to say, will you pass the exam if you study? Yes, I will. If I want to say no, I'm going to say no, I won't. Okay, now in the Pupil's book, page number 23, take a look at the grammar box. If I win a free trip, comma, I will go to the UK. I won't go to France. If we want to ask a question about this, will you go to Spain? If I want to say yes, I'm going to answer, yes, I will. If I want to say no, I'm going to say, no, I won't. So, if I win a free trip, I will go to the UK. I won't go to France. Okay, when we make it a question, will you go to Spain? Yes, I will. No, I won't. And as we said, won't means will plus not. If Dan wins a free trip, second one. He will go to Brazil. He won't go to China. If I want to ask a question, will he go to Turkey? Yes, he will. No, he won't. And notice that. Dan wins. We added S to the simple present because Dan is singular, and for singular we use he. Singular pronouns we add S for the simple present with them, but when we say he, she, it as singular pronouns, but we don't add S or ES for I. If Dan wins a free trip, he will go to Brazil. He won't go to China. Will he go to Turkey? Yes, he will. No, he won't. Okay, now, here we need to listen. Then decide if these sentences are true or false.
Page 23, Unit 2, Lesson 2, Activity 4. Listen, then say true or false.
Maddie entered a competition for a free trip around the world.
I know. I want to enter the contest too.
Where will you go if you win?
That's easy. I'll go to Brazil.
So the first question, if Robbie wins a free trip, he will go to Argentina. Okay, is that true? We listened to Robbie in the audio and he said he wants to go to Brazil. So if Robbie wins a free trip, he'll go to Argentina. Yes, it's false. Next one.
There are fantastic beaches there.
Okay, let's read number 2. He will go to Brazil because there are good beaches. Let's listen again.
If you win.
That's easy. I'll go to Brazil. There are fantastic beaches there.
So yes, he wants to go there because there are fantastic beaches. So it's going to be true. Next one. Robbie will go to the United Kingdom too.
What about Argentina? Will you go there too?
No, I won't. After Brazil, I'll go to the United States.
So he said he wants to go to the United States, so not to the United Kingdom. So this one is false.
I want to visit New York.
I want to enter the competition too. If I win.
So Emma decided to enter the competition. Let's read number 4. Emma will go to Egypt if she wins the trip. Let's see.
If I win, I'll go to Egypt and then Turkey.
So as we heard, she's going to go to Egypt. So this one is true.
That sounds like fun.
And after that, I'll go to France and Italy.
What about Spain?
So she will also go to New York in the United States. She said, I want to go to Egypt, to Turkey, and she didn't say anything about the United States. So this one is, of course, false.
Will you go there too?
I don't think so. I won't have time.
Again?
After that, I'll go to France and Italy.
What about Spain? Will you go there too?
I don't think so. I won't have time.
So, the question is that Emma won't go to Turkey or France. Won't means will not. And she said, I want to go to Egypt, after that Turkey, France, Italy, but she don't have time for Brazil. So this one is false. because she wanted to go to Turkey and France. So we are going to say Emma will go to Turkey or France, not want. Let's see next question. Okay, in this exercise, where will the children go if they win a free trip? Let's make sentences. Look at Jeff. Jeff is going to go to Egypt and he won't go to Turkey, so we are going to say, where will Jeff go if he wins a free trip? We are going to say, if Jeff wins a free trip, he will go to Egypt, he won't go to Turkey. Now look at Hannah. She wants to go to China. She doesn't want to go to Australia. So we are going to say, if Hannah wins a free trip, she will go to China, she won't go to Australia. Next one. Brad, he wants to go to Brazil. He doesn't want to go to Argentina. So we are going to say, if Brad wins a free trip, he will go to Brazil. He won't go to Argentina. Next one. Here's Nora. She wants to go to Spain. She doesn't want to go. She wants to go to Spain. She doesn't want to go to France. So we are going to say, if Nora wins a free trip, she will go to Spain. She won't go to France. Try to take a look at these sentences, at these pictures, and try to make your own sentences by yourself. Now let's open our activity book, page number 17. Take a look at the first exercise. Let's take a look at the first exercise on page number 17 in the activity book. Match. Let's read the sentences before we match them. If Laura wins the free trip. Number 2, if I see Simon. Number 3, Pierre will be happy. Number 4, if it rains. Number 5, Jane will pass her piano exam. In the other side, we want to play football. I'll tell him your news. If you come to his party, if she practices a lot, she'll go to Turkey. Okay, in these sentences we need to notice that the most important point to know which sentence is the first part or the F clause and which sentence is the main clause or the main part, because by this we are going to know what is the missing part. If we have F clause in the first part, so of course we need the main clause for the other part. If we have the main part, so of course we need to match it with the F clause. Let's see here. If Laura wins, so it's the F clause. If I see Simon, it's the F clause. Pierre will be happy. Pierre will be happy is a main clause. So we need F clause for this one. If it rains, it's F clause. Jane will pass her piano exam, it's main clause. Okay, let's start matching. If Laura wins the free trip, she will go to Turkey. Okay. If I see Simon, so we are going to say, if I see Simon, I need a main close for this one. The best one, if I see Simon, I tell him your news. So it's B. Pierre will be happy. This part is a main clause. Pierre will be happy. We need if clause for this one. If you come to his party. It's C. If it rains, we need main part for this one. So of course we want to play football because it rains. Jane will pass her piano exam. We need if clause for this one. If she practices a lot, of course she will pass her piano exam. Let's go to next one. Where will they go if they win the free trip? Where will they go if they win the free trip? Laura, if Laura wins the free trip, as you can see here, she will go to Istanbul and she won't go to Paris. So if Laura wins the free trip, she will go to Istanbul in Turkey. She won't go to Paris in France. Let's see next one. Okay, let's take a look next one. Next one, Keira will go to Brasilia and she won't go to Beijing. So we are going to know first Brasilia in which country, and Brasilia is in Brazil. So Brasilia in Brazil and Beijing is in China. So we are going to say, if Keira wins a free trip, she will go to Brasilia in Brazil. She won't go to Beijing in China. So how to write this? If Keira wins a free trip, comma, she will go to Brasilia in Brazil comma, she won't go to Beijing in China. And notice that we wrote F capital letter and we wrote Brasilia and Brazil with letter. We wrote Beijing and China with capital letters. So if Keira wins a free trip, she will go to Brasilia in Brazil. She won't go to Beijing in China. Why? Because why we wrote F with capital letter? Because it's the first sentence, the first word in the sentence. And we wrote Brasilia and Brazil with capital letters because they are proper nouns. Beijing and China, they are proper nouns. And notice that we added we put commas between the sentences in order to separate them. Next one. Hassan wants to go to Madrid and he doesn't want to go to London. Madrid is in Spain. And London is in the UK, United Kingdom. how to say the sentence. We are going to say this. If Hassan wins a free trip, comma, he will go to Madrid in Spain, comma, he won't go to London in the UK. Dot. Next one. Sean wants to go to New York, and New York is in of course USA, and Sydney is in Australia. So USA and Australia. Ouch. Okay. We are going to say that if Sean wins a free trip, comma, he will go to New York in the USA, comma, he won't go to Sydney in Australia. Of course, you have dot at the end. And that was the end of our lesson today. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.